Hello, can everyone hear me now? Ooh. I cannot believe I've been speaking this whole time and no one has heard me. Well, let's start over. I do apologize for that. I've been talking for the last 10 minutes. Good afternoon, everyone, or excuse me, good evening, everyone. If you are here on the East Coast or on the Eastern Seaboard, you know we have been suffering for the last few hours with some of these clouds that have been rolling through. I decided to start the stream a little bit early so that we can start to see the Earth's shadow crossing in front of the moon. If you are live streaming it with me, you will see the Earth's shadow passing from the right-hand side, just at the bottom of the moon. If you are looking at it outside your window, it's going to be to the left-hand side. My name is Catherine Troach. I am an amateur astronomer based out of New York City. I go by the moniker Kuiper Cat, and I am the Vice President of Operations for the Amateur Astronomers Association, and I wanted to welcome you to tonight's live stream. Now, we do have this very, very large clearing here in New York City. I do not know how long it's going to last, but there are some clouds that are coming in from the west, and these clouds look pretty thick. So I wanted to start the stream just a little bit early so that this way you can at least see some of this lunar eclipse. Now, lunar eclipses, I love lunar eclipses simply because when you are expecting to look at a lunar eclipse, you don't need any special equipment. You don't need a telescope. You don't even need binoculars. Don't get me wrong, those are great to have, but you don't need them. All you need is a pair of eyes, maybe a blanket, thrown down on the ground, and you just need to look up. And if you have clear skies where you are, you should be able to start to see the Earth's shadow passing in front of the moon, along with some clouds on the live stream. But if you have clear skies, congratulations, because it has been a struggle here in New York City. So now eclipses aren't that, or lunar eclipses, I should say, are not that infrequent. We will actually have another total lunar eclipse happening in November for New York City. So we just have to, wait, of course. It'll be a very, very early morning eclipse, like around 5 a.m., but it should be a beautiful total lunar eclipse like tonight. Now, what's great about lunar eclipses, like I said, you don't need any special equipment, but you also don't need any particular eye protection like you would with a solar eclipse. Solar eclipses, you need special filters for your telescope or your binoculars, solar glasses, just to make sure that your eyes stay safe. These are things that you would absolutely 100% be required to have if you are watching a solar eclipse. But since you're watching a lunar eclipse with me, not only do you not need any particular eye protection to keep your eyes safe, but lunar eclipses last hours. This lunar eclipse in particular lasts about 5 hours. So if you were getting started around 9:30 p.m. when the penumbra was passing in front of the moon, and now you're seeing the Earth's shadow, which is the umbra, this eclipse is going to last until about 3 in the morning Eastern Daylight Time. So if you are on the West Coast, that would be 12 in the morning Pacific Daylight Time. If you're in Mountain Time, then that would be 1. If you're in Central Time, that would be 2 a.m. So this is an all-night event. As long as you have clear skies and you don't mind staying up late, you'll be able to watch this eclipse all night long. So a question that I have here is, what equipment am I using to look at the moon? So currently what I'm using to live stream the moon to you is my small little telescope. It's about 3 inches in diameter, very, very tiny, very, very portable. And I am using my cell phone. I have an iPhone 12 with a cell phone attachment for my telescope. And that allows me to stream the moon for you guys. What time would it be for Eastern time zone? Right now, it would be. It is 10:34 p.m. So get outside and look up if you can. Depending on where you are, if you have a clear sky, I encourage you to run outside right now, and you'll be able to see it. So when is it in Central Time? Central Time, it should be right about now as well, because you're only an hour behind us. So the moon should be nice and high enough for you to see it. If you are in Mountain Daylight Time and you are in Pacific Daylight Time, this eclipse is going to be happening with moonrise. So just look to the east and you'll see it as the moon is coming up above the horizon. And if you're watching it, you start to see some of those clouds moving in. Unfortunately, the clouds also kind of mess with the white balance of the camera on the phone. So it might look a little brighter in some spots, but it is still kind of cool to see those clouds passing in front. So where is the moon in the sky right now? If you are on the eastern seaboard, I would say the moon is probably about 30 to 40 degrees above the horizon. If you are in central time, it's going to be a little bit less than that. So just look to the east. If you have clear skies, just get to a clearing and look toward the east, or just it's like east. Yeah, almost not exactly south, but I would say east southeast. Yes, this is also a supermoon. So, supermoons happen when the moon is slightly closer to the Earth than it typically is in its normal cycle. We call that perigee, and it looks maybe about 14% larger than the moon typically would. So, it is technically, yes, a supermoon. The moon name, I should say, for the month of May is also the flower moon, and because it is a total lunar eclipse, we're going to have that blood moon effect. So this is I think it's a total super flower blood moon, if you want to throw a whole name together for it. So now, once again, we do have some clouds rolling in, and this is going to be a very big band. So if on the off chance we do not catch a break in the next maybe 3 to 5 minutes, I will pause the live stream, but I will not go away. I will stay on the live stream. I'll be happy to answer any comments or questions in the live chat. But we're going to go ahead and we're just going to keep an eye on the clouds here, because we do have some nasty, nasty clouds coming in from the west now. Unfortunately, you can definitely see it on your screen. Now, if you are in the Caribbean or if you're, outside of the continental US, unfortunately, I do not know exactly what time the eclipse starts for you, but I would absolutely recommend that you go to timeanddate.com and you should be able to calculate exactly if you can see it and when you can see it from where you are. Now, another question that I see here, let's see. Yeah, we just lost everything. Yeah, someone in New Jersey said that they just lost visibility, and so did we. You can see that little edge there. Unfortunately, we are losing the moon, which is a shame. So we do have the moon kind of going in and out. And as amateur astronomers, we like to call what's happening right now, where you see the moon kind of peeking in and out of clouds. We like to call those sucker holes. So we do have just a couple of sucker holes popping in and out, giving us just barely visible pieces of the moon. I hope that we get more as the evening progresses, simply because I would hate it if we all missed Totality, which is expected to happen around midnight. So we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to go ahead and wait. So the red color that you can expect to see that happens with Totality, that's going to happen just after midnight. So when I say midnight, I mean midnight Eastern Daylight Time. It'll be just after 11 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Mountain Time, and 9 p.m. Pacific Time. So just I would say we still have some time. This eclipse does last a few hours. So that's the great thing about lunar eclipses, is that they last hours at a time. Is this eclipse happening from New York? It is happening right now. If you are in a clear area where you have no clouds, step outside and just look up. You should be able to see the Earth's shadow passing in front of the moon. If you are in New York City, like I am, you are going to see some clouds, but there might be a few breaks here and there where you'll be able to see it. So this is a good question. How does the red light come on the moon, or why does the moon become red? And that typically happens at totality. You start to see it just before and just after, but at totality is when you see it the most. And the reason for that is because the Earth's shadow is completely covering the moon, but we still have the sun behind it. So the sun is now illuminating the moon with Earth's shadow, causing that red glow. And then also our atmosphere has a lot to do with that. And I think I just felt a raindrop, so now I'm getting a little nervous. Totality happens in just under 2 hours. So we have about 90 minutes to go. Will the moon rise higher as the night progresses? Absolutely. So as the night continues on, the moon, because this is a full moon, it's going to cross the night sky all night, just until about 4 or 5 a.m. And you'll be able to watch this eclipse, depending on where you are, for a few hours. So if you are in Texas, you might be in Central Time. So you should start to see it now, and as the evening progresses, you'll get to totality just after 11 p.m. And the eclipse should end for you just after 2 a.m. So, do eclipses happen yearly? Yes, and sometimes they happen twice a year. So, this year, for example, we will have two total lunar eclipses, the one that's happening now behind all the clouds, and another eclipse in November, but that one is going to be closer toward the morning. So, this eclipse is a little bit more manageable in terms of time. It's not super late in the evening, but the one in November is set to hit totality around 5 a.m. So it's probably going to start, I think, around 3 a.m. All right, folks. So we have a big cloud passing in front. So I'm going to pause the stream for now, and we will be back as soon as I get a little bit of a clearing. Hello, everyone. If you are just joining us, we have some clouds passing in front, but we have a big chunk of clear sky coming up soon. So, definitely thank you for your patience. We will get back to the total lunar eclipse very, very soon. Thank you all for sticking with me for as long as you have. If you are just joining us, this is the total lunar eclipse from New York City. My name is Catherine Troach. I go by the moniker Kuipercat, and I am the Vice President of Operations for the Amateur Astronomers Association here in New York. So if you are here in the East Coast with us, you are suffering through these clouds as well. And it's not just New York City. A good chunk of the eastern seaboard seems to be clouded out tonight. But as you can see, we are getting a little bit of a break in the clouds here. And so now you're starting to see that shadow, Earth's shadow, being cast on the moon as the clouds are moving through. So if you are in Queens specifically, because that is where I am broadcasting from, if you are in Queens, please run outside and look up. Look to the east. It's the moon. You can't miss it. If you are in Texas, that's a central daylight time. You're just about an hour behind us. So if you look up and if you have clear skies, you'll definitely be able to see it. It'll just be a little bit lower in the sky than it would be here in New York. So if you're just joining us, this eclipse started around 10:30 p.m. and we are expected to reach totality just after midnight here in New York City, and we are Eastern Daylight Time. So if you are in Central, that's just an hour behind us. Mountain 2 hours, Pacific Time 3 hours. If you are outside of the continental United States, I absolutely recommend going to timeanddate.com. That is a website where you can calculate exactly where you are expected to see the eclipse and at what time, depending on your city, your state, your zip code. Even if you have GPS coordinates for where you are, you can plug those in as well, like longitude, latitude. You can plug those in, and you'll be able to get the exact details of what you can expect to see tonight. Now, of course, this is weather permitting, like all things. And now we got a good break in the clouds. This is exactly what I was hoping for tonight, just because here in New York City, it has been so cloudy all day. And we were agonizing. The astronomers here in New York have been agonizing about this just about all week. So I'm glad to see that it has finally started to clear up, and you can start to see that reddish hue happening on the moon. If it is cloudy where you are, you will have another opportunity this November. I believe it is November 14th, if I am not mistaken. I would double check that though. We will have a second total lunar eclipse happening over the United States. So eclipses, lunar eclipses specifically, they're not super rare. They happen pretty frequently. After this next total lunar eclipse in November of this year, so November 2022, we will have another one in 2025, in March of 2025. So you can learn all about that on timeanddate.com. They have a full calculator of how to, plan for an eclipse. And we do have a little bit of a cloud passing in front, but it's a small one. So stick with me. Don't go anywhere. We have this little strip of cloud passing in front. And as soon as that's gone, we are back into the clear sky. Yes. So my apologies. It is November 8th. I am thinking about something completely different. I'm actually thinking about the the annular solar eclipse of October 14th, 2023 is what I'm thinking of. So yes, November 8th, we will have another total solar eclipse for everyone to enjoy. So how do we know exactly when eclipses are going to be and where they're going to be? Well, orbital mechanics, the movement of the solar system and everything in it, is a beautiful thing because it's all based on math, and as long as you do the formulas right, the math is never wrong. So you can predict these types of things: lunar eclipses, solar eclipses, transits where, let's say, an inner planet like Venus or Mercury is passing in front of the sun. You can plan these out a good 100 years in advance, thanks to orbital mechanics and math. Yes, we are back to a black screen, but I see the moon starting to peek out, or at the very least, I see the lunar glow peeking out behind this band of clouds. So it's going to move very, very shortly. Oh, my friend, the stream is very much alive. So, what I personally like to use to calculate clouds in the area, if you go to the National Weather Service website, they have a great radar system that you can use to calculate anything you need to know about clouds and how many of them are going to pass in front of your area. So totality is going to happen just after midnight. And like I mentioned earlier in the stream, that's the beauty about lunar eclipses. They last for hours. This particular one is a little over 5 hours long. So this is going to go on until, when it's completely finished, it'll go on until after 3 in the morning. So I get this question a lot, and I am actually using my iPhone 12 for this live stream. So my setup, I currently have a small 3-inch max soft cast grain telescope. It is a Celestron 90 SLT. And I have a cell phone adapter, and I use my iPhone 12. Now, can we predict solar eclipses, lunar eclipses 1,000 years from now? To be honest, I am not 100% sure. Just full disclosure, because I am an amateur astronomer, I only feel comfortable giving the information that I definitely understand and definitely know about. But I would absolutely you can definitely look that up. NASA has a lot of really good resources. If you go to solarsystem.nasa.gov, they have a lot of great resources that you can use. So if you are in the New York City area, just look east southeast. You'll be able to see the moon. So Mars and Venus right now are daytime planets, so you can see them just before sunrise. We are almost at totality now. If you are just joining us, this is the total lunar eclipse happening here in New York City. I am Catherine Troach, your MC. I am the Vice President of Operations for the Amateur Astronomers Association here in New York City, and I am happy to bring this total lunar eclipse to you. We do have some very, very, very light clouds passing in front, but it should not affect our view for the rest of this eclipse. So now, if you are in New York State and you want to see some Milky Way, um, there's only one place that I've been to that has offered me Milky Way views, and that was at North South Lake, out in Suffern Haynes Falls area. So if you're near there, I absolutely would say definitely check them out. But if you're not sure, um, I would say try to link up with the local astronomy club, and they will point you in the right direction. Quite literally. So total lunar eclipses are not rare at all. We actually will have another one in November of this year. So they are, they happen very, very frequently. After the one in November of 2022, we will have another one in March of 2025. So now, for those of you watching, we have not hit totality yet. There is a very, very small cloud passing in front. It only appears that we've hit totality, but there's a very, very tiny, tiny cloud passing in front. You can still see a little sliver of the moon. So, for everyone asking, maximum eclipse, or when we hit totality, will be at 12:11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So 12:11 a.m. We are not quite there yet. There are some clouds passing in front, but you should see a little bit of that red moon. If you are in New York City, please look outside if you have clear skies, because you'll be able to see just a little bit of that red. We are going to be in totality for nearly an hour and a half, which is fantastic for here. So, for anyone wondering, I did just place it into the comments. Some folks have asked what my setup is, what I'm using right now to stream the eclipse. And it is a Celestron 90 SLT telescope and my iPhone 12. So, is it totality or is it clouds? It's actually a little bit of both. We are in totality right now, but we do have some very, very mild clouds passing in front. Um, I'm hoping that we get a little clear break soon. You can kind of make it out on the live stream, but it's very faint. We do have another break in the clouds coming very, very shortly. This cloud is going to be passing very, very soon, and you'll be able to see the eclipse in better detail. So, what makes the eclipse red? Okay. When the moon passes through the darkest part of the Earth's shadow, which is the umbra, that's what you're seeing now, or what we will be seeing once the clouds pass. That is when the sun's rays reach Earth, and a lot of the blue and green light is scattered, but that red and that orange light, it still stays visible. So that's what we're seeing. It's not that the moon is turning red itself; it's that we're seeing that light scattering. Now I can start to see it clearing up on my end. Please let me know in the comments if you can see it on yours. Would that I absolutely could, Irene H. I absolutely would. Okay, I was able to make some adjustments. Please let me know if it is still not visible to you here on the stream. And of course, as soon as I did that, the clouds are passing in front. Folks, I'm going to try to make a very, very quick adjustment. I promise I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I did have to step away just for a second to try to make some quick adjustments. If you are in New York City, you should be able to see the eclipse. There are some clouds rolling in from the west, and they do not look very good. Um, I'm hoping that we can hold out, uh, but I also did just see some lightning. Um, and Unfortunately, if it does start to rain, I will be ending this stream immediately. So fingers crossed that we don't get to that point. Okay, so we got our angry clouds now, um, and I'm hoping that they pass, or that we get another what we like to call sucker hole. But in the event that we don't, I do want to thank you all for tuning in tonight. Unfortunately, the weather was not as cooperative as it could have been. But that's okay because we get another opportunity in November. So if you are definitely interested in stuff like this, if you are in the New York City area, I would absolutely welcome you to come to any free Amateur Astronomers Association event that they have. We do observing all over the 5 boroughs of New York City. So if you wanted to come out and look at the moon in person, you're more than welcome to come to an event. Our website is aaa.org. So that's 3a's.org, O-R-G. And again, all of our events are free. So if you are in Brooklyn, if you're in Queens, if you're in Staten Island, if you're in the Bronx, you're in Manhattan, of course, you can come out to any one of these events. And we set up telescopes on the sidewalk and just let anybody come through and take a look. I'm glad I was able to share all of this with you. I'm going to hang out for as long as I can, and hopefully we get another break in the clouds. But I may just end it here in terms of speaking to you guys directly. But I will answer any questions through the live chat if I can. And the reason for that, of course, is because I did see some lightning in the distance, and it is supposed to start raining somewhere, or at least they said earlier, somewhere around 1 a.m. It is close to midnight now, which means that it could start raining very soon. And with my telescope and my laptop and everything else up here, I definitely don't want any of that to get wet. So again, like I said, I'll hang out with you for as long as I can. But we'll just see. What is your friend's name, Jean-Pierre? Oh, John Paul, excuse me. What is your friend's name? I will be happy to give him a birthday shout out here from New York City. So this eclipse it's going to be a 5-hour eclipse. So we are going to end that maximum totality just before 1 a.m. And then you're going to start to see the Earth's shadow moving away from the moon. So how the moon was starting to become darker and darker, you'll start to see that in reverse, where the moon will become brighter and brighter. happy birthday, Miles, and happy belated birthday to you, since your birthday was on May 10th. Yes, New York City is set to have thunderstorms tonight. And so I personally, I am on the roof of my building, and there is a lot of metal up here. Not that any of it should be conductive, but you never know. So if I start to see any more thunder and lightning, or so not thunder, lightning, if I ever start to see any more lightning, I will be hightailing it inside. Okay, so happy birthday to all my May 7th and all my May 10th birthdays. All right, so we've got some more clouds here. I'm, again, fingers crossed that we get some clearing before we wrap this up. But I don't know. We have a lot of clouds coming in from the west, so we will see. I think we have one more, maybe just one more sucker hole coming up. Fingers crossed. So, who made up the term sucker hole? Sucker holes are called sucker holes because if you are an amateur astronomer, you are a sucker for standing outside under all these clouds waiting for a break. Before you all run off, because there's still 488 of you in here, There are other websites that are live streaming the eclipse from various locations that have clear skies. If you go to timeanddate.com, so it's time, the word and, A-N-D, date.com, they have a live stream happening right now, and you will be able to see the eclipse from all over the world, including Morocco. So I would absolutely say go ahead and check them out right now. It is on YouTube, or you can go straight to their website. This eclipse is slated to last for another few hours. So if you don't have clear skies right now, but you might have clear skies in, let's say, another 30 minutes or another hour, the eclipse will still be happening. The eclipse is scheduled to end just before 3 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So 3 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time is 2 a.m. Central Daylight, 1 a.m. Mountain Daylight, and 12 a.m. Pacific Daylight. So you have plenty of time still to catch this eclipse. So do they charge to view this? Are you talking about on Time and Date? If you're talking about timeanddate.com, they do not charge to view this at all. It's completely free. So if you go to their website, it's free. If you go to YouTube, it's free. I will post the link in the live chat here. So their live stream, timeanddate.com, it's happening right now. You can either go straight to their website, or you can go to their YouTube channel, and it's going to be the same stream. Oh, my apologies. So if you're in New York and you wanted to, not, it may not necessarily be a lunar eclipse, but if you're in New York and you wanted to, view the moon with us, it's completely free. So I'll post that website in the chat as well. So everything we do at the Amateur Astronomers Association is free when it comes to observing. So we have sidewalk astronomy. We have lectures that we do at the Museum of Natural History, and all of those are free. So you're definitely welcome to check those out. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm not getting anywhere. There are more clouds coming in, so I'm going to wrap this up. I am going to end this live stream. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope to see you all again in November. So clear skies and keep looking up.